Hey guys, Marcus Melnick here with Firearm Mentor. Hope you're enjoying my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. These little things are free to you and really help the channel. I appreciate your support. Enjoy. Thank you.
The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters. Greetings and welcome to the Personal Safety Show. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor and Stress to Logic, your host. And today we're going to continue the conversation. We've had several shows about this, about services that can be provided in the home to seniors who may need a little bit of extra help. And on the line, I've got Cory and Norilyn Querubin. They are the proprietors, owners of CJC Services Unlimited. Cory, Norilyn, welcome to the show.
Hi, Marcus. Hi, Marcus. Good morning.
The first question I have for you is directed at both of you, so you take turns. First question is, what's your origin story? How did you get to where you are today?
This is Norilyn. I'll go first. My origin is from the Philippines. I migrated here in the United States 1994. I was 28 years old that time. I came in with my bachelor's degree in nursing and some business credentials back home. While back home, I did a lot of business deals with farming and poultry business. But the true passion that I have carried is what I grew up seeing from my parents, taking care of our elders and people around us. We are very conscious of taking care of people around us and keeping them safe and keeping them healthy as well.
Cory, what's your origin story? What's your background?
Well, so I immigrated here. I was 9 years old. And then I went through traditional schooling in the U.S. I got my master's in healthcare administration at the same time I was pursuing my MD. I practiced as a physician for a little bit, and then I was fortunate enough to be able to take that knowledge and join the family company of caregiving. Actually, while I was going through medical school, I was doing caregiving on the side.
How long has CJC been in business?
I actually started since 2008, Marcus.
Okay.
I started it by myself, and it was supposed to be only like a part-time job for me because I was in retail business that time. I was managerial in a big retail corporate America. And I'm not. You get to that point, you're not happy going to work anymore, and you start looking for something.
Right.
There's that piece that's missing. And then I found a couple. I started 1 day, 2 days, and that first couple I took care ended up almost 9 years.
Okay. Good.
And because of that, I'm running around in Lake Forest area between hospitals, nursing home, doctor's office. Then referrals start coming in. Then family helped me to establish the business. Then when patient coming in or some referrals coming in, I ended up getting my husband, my kids, and a friend that I recruited from the parking lot, and that friend of mine been working with me for 12 years.
Nice.
As one of my top caregiver.
How many clients do you have? How big is the organization?
Right now, we try to control it as small as 20, 25. That way, we could still, between Cory and I, we could still personally take care and pay attention to most of our clients' needs, from their doctor's appointment to their hair appointment, all of those things, even their groceries and everything. We help them out in so many ways that family member actually don't know what to do when they have an aging parents.
Right. I'm kind of in that boat right now with my in-laws. So what is the NCBAC board? It's got to be like an accreditation type thing. I saw it on the website.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. So what NCBAC stands for is the National Certification Board for Alzheimer's Care. So that is actually a certification credential that I personally have gone through. So you study for it, you take an exam, you have to pass it in order to earn the certification. And then I have to maintain every single year 12 continuing credit hours. So, and it's renewed every single year.
Very good.
And I'm actually a certified Alzheimer's educator.
Oh, that's
terrific. What that credential is.
Okay.
And you train and right, and I can actually our caregivers right.
Can you talk about your company's values and focus?
Well, so our values revolve around the question: if I were in my patient's shoes, how do I want my care to look like? So it's patient care first and foremost, because that's who matters most when it comes to the services that we provide. Now, so that can go from asking them, hey, what kind of goal do you have for yourself? How do you want to improve, with our help? Let me just give you an example about a current client that we have. I'm not going to use any names.
Right,
but
of course not.
Initially, we started taking care of this specific client in 2022, and his specific goal was, I want to walk again. And that is a very clear, easy goal. So what we did is we put everything behind him and said, here, you're going to need physical therapy. You're going to need this upright walker. You're going to need this, and that. How can we help you lose weight so that you can easily get back up on your feet? And we got him to walk again, Marcus.
Wow, that's
he got it after
terrific.
what? 6 months. 6 months. After 6 months of working with us and with physical therapy, occupational therapy, exercise and nutrition, he was walking.
That's terrific. So that actually brings up a couple of questions, and I'm going to go off script a little bit. How do you manage the care of an individual, similar situation, who maybe has some mobility issues, who just is like, forget it, I'm not doing any of those exercises, forget it. I'm in my 80s, I've made it this far, I'm going to eat whatever the heck I want to eat. How do you deal with that? But I don't want to be in a home.
That's a little bit tricky, Marcus, but
Right.
It's doable. They always have to make their call. Hey, if you don't want to be in a home, then here's what we can do. We can keep you independent here with a little help. And maybe they need to talk to a social worker or some kind of a psychotherapy to manage some of this aging population. There's a lot of depression that comes with it.
Yes.
Okay? And that's hard to navigate by the family members. They're just going to say, oh, my mom or my folks are becoming grouchy.
Right.
But the truth, Marcus, is they don't know what's going on with them. And if you are not a trained professional to navigate that situation, you're just going to turn your back and say, no, forget it. I'm just going to put you in a home.
Right.
But that's what professionals like us tend to help a lot of family members. Even just let us come to make an assessment. And then from there, we could tell you exactly which direction. But when you ask me about that kind of a specific question, it's hard to navigate that because there are some aging population that they will be just like so grumpy and they're so ornery and they're just not going to listen to you. But when there's a professional that comes in, it's a totally different scenario. Trust me, when there's a professional come, it will be a different scenario. Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting.
We will be offering them option. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, it's interesting you say that because, as you know, I train people in firearms, and it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. A lot of times the spouse cannot or parent just can't teach. Mm-hmm. They're too close to the situation. And so they hire an outside instructor like me. It's almost exactly the same thing as the professional. So I appreciate it.
I think so. Yeah, I think you are absolutely correct on that, Marco. Absolutely right. You are absolutely correct on that because, like an example, let's get out of the script, like what you said with the firearms. Even in driving, I can,
right.
I came here, I don't know how to drive. My husband did not become successful teaching me, so I have to hire someone else.
Right.
I think there's that emotional connection when it comes to all of these things.
I couldn't agree more with you. So earlier in the call,
Thank you.
I mean, we're definitely of like mind. Earlier in the call, you mentioned something about managing the client's hair appointment and grocery shopping. I'm kind of ad-libbing here, but there were non-medical things. Can you talk about the services that your employees offer to their clients?
Again, this is going to go back in doing the assessment, because when you engage in this profession, Marcus, some other family members, they are still willing to do some of it with their parents or with their elderly. Okay, it all depends what the social status, what the activity status of the client. Some still wants to get their hair done every week. Some wants to get their nails done every week. Some have massage every week. And some have a game day once or twice a week.
Right.
So we take them. We take them to wherever basically the client wants to go. Some clients practice different religion orientation. So we tend to take them wherever they needed to go.
Okay. That's great. And, I was thinking about this interview the last couple days, and I'm thinking, well, if somebody has a cleaning service, and I saw on the website your people will do light cleaning. That doesn't mean like it's super deep clean. That means like dusting and maybe vacuuming. Something simple. That's in my head. I don't know if that's actually true. If someone's...
we do that too.
Okay, if someone's spending, I'm making up numbers, $100 a week on a cleaning crew, but they need one of your services, the beauty of it is they can combine their finances and just have your service and not have a cleaning service or this service or that service. You can have one person or a team of people that are on the same page that can do everything. That's what I absolutely loved about what you do. Can someone hire you? Can someone hire you as a one-off? And let me explain what I mean.
Okay.
Somebody's in a situation where they're in a rehab facility. And in that rehab, they want to go to a family event, but really they reside at the rehab center. Are you guys available for hire to bring them to one event, a wedding, a bar mitzvah, a christening, whatever it is? Or is this more of a, for lack of a better word, subscription?
To answer your question, based on the services we have provided in the past and still are providing, we had a client that was with us for over 8 years. And in that span of time, she has had 3 weddings that she's attended, which I have gone with her to, So her family will provide the transportation, but I'll be there. I'll help her pack everything. I'll help her go to her room or suite, wherever in a hotel. I'm just generalizing here because I don't want to give specifics, but
of course,
she had 2 granddaughters, 1 grandson that got married, and I was there for all of them. And she lived in assisted living facility here in Lake Bluff.
So that's got to make you feel great, where you can actually, kind of opposite of hospice, where it's kind of a sad thing, you're able to do life events with these people and see them at their best instead of at their worst. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, great. I feel like I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm making a difference because, what we do as caregivers is, of course, activities of daily living. We help you take a shower. We help you get dressed. We help you do all these regular, normal things that everybody does every single day. But on those days where you get to, as I would say, glam out, get dressed up, go be with your family, and they just get to see, and this is going to sound odd, but they get to see the end product of our work. That is, and they are super happy. That's reward enough in itself. And that makes my day.
That's terrific.
That really makes my day.
Yeah.
In addition to that, Marcos, sometimes the patient themselves said, I still feel significant, that they still belong. The feeling of being significant to their family is still there.
I wouldn't have thought of that, and that's the crux of this. Everything that you do is that you're making people, I'm sorry, you're not making anyone, but you're helping people actually live life as it should be lived.
Yes.
not just sitting in a room with four walls and watching old westerns on TV. And that's kind of a little joke.
That's not living, Marcus.
No.
That's not living. That's just surviving.
Yes.
One of the things that I've actually told a lot of our clients and their family is that, especially families who have become caregivers for their own loved ones, I always tell them, why don't you let us do the heavy work in the back end?
Right.
That way you can actually be a daughter, granddaughter, son, whatever, husband. Go live life with this person after we've done the heavy lifting in the back end.
Right.
Because that's what it's all about. I mean, when you get to a certain age, 80, 90, you really always want to worry about what's going to be my next meal, how am I going to dress, how am I going to do all these other basic necessities of living? Or would you rather, hey, I got an idea. I want to go to this coffee shop or to this library, my usual spot with my husband and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the latter is definitely worth spending more time on and energy as opposed to the other stuff.
I think I'm going to get on my soapbox for a minute and just kind of just agree with you. When I was a teenager, my father was terminally ill. He had kidney cancer, and we opted to care for him at home. In the middle of the night, he had his old ROTC whistle. He'd blow it, and depending on the night, we would take shifts to help him toilet and all that. And then the last week, we actually had, I want to say it was a CNA 24/7, and it was just the last week of his life. But what I used to do is I would push him to the point where he wasn't sitting in the living room watching TV. I was like, let's go for a walk around the block. And those walks became shorter as his disease progressed. But all right, well, let's walk to the corner. I'm going to go in the garage. I'm going to change the oil in the car. You can sit in a chair and call me dummy like you have my entire life. I thought that was my name until I was about 10. That's a joke. He'd say, hand me the wrench, dummy. And the funny thing on that is he's 16 years older than my uncle, and my uncle was dummy number one. So when he would help him out, he'd say, dummy, give me the screwdriver. And then I became dummy, and it was a term of endearment. It was not at all an insult. And
Of course.
we'd be at a party or an event, and my dad would say, hey, dummy, and we would both turn our heads and look. Because he was dummy before I was dummy. So, but the whole point is I would push him to the point where, hey, you're still able to do stuff. You're not going to sit here and wait to die, basically. You're going to get off your rear end. You're going to come in the kitchen. Even if I'm doing the work, you're going to sit there with me and you're going to talk to me and keep me company. And that's how I kept him relevant or living life.
Right, yeah. Hey, you did good in that one.
Well,
really good.
I had a high school teacher, and when my father was diagnosed, he kept me after class, and he gave me the best advice that anyone has ever given me about caring for a loved one. And that is, you don't treat them like an invalid. If they can do something.
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
So
you're going to hurt their feelings, and then they're going to carry that pain, to the day they kick the bucket. But what you did and that teaching that your teacher taught you really carried you through.
It absolutely did.
Made your dad feel relevant.
It absolutely did. And this was a guy who was. You've heard of the photocopy machine? Yes, everyone's heard of it. He designed the first one.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Back in the 1950s. And then you've heard of the laminating machine? Of course, everyone has.
Yes.
My sister has the prototype. He designed that too. So he was a mechanical design engineer with a ton of patents. And he was, near the end of his life, reduced to the point where he couldn't figure out how to press play on a VCR or set a clock or anything like that. So it was definitely a mental decline. It wasn't dementia, but I'm certain there was cognitive issues involved. So, but we tried to keep him active, and there's a point where people can't do things anymore, which is okay, but you still push them to do what they have to do.
There's something I would like to share to you and your listener, Marcus. we once took care of a 104-year-old lady. This is one thing she said, "Hey, Norilyn, what would you expect on a 104 machine? There will be some shots here and there when you're in that age." So I guess age and brain and everything comes, how old are you and everything, the decline and everything, it comes with ages.
I'm lucky I can remember what I went into a room for. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Why did I come in this room? Oh, it's the bathroom. Oh, I remember now.
Hey, you and I the same.
Yes.
I was like, why am I in front of this coffee maker? Oh, I would like to make coffee.
That's right. That's right. So this is your business. It is certainly not my area of, I have a little experience, but not my area of expertise. What did I not ask you? What would you like to share that I should have asked you, but maybe I didn't?
I think we kind of discussed almost all of it, but the safety, I think, is what you're special. Of course, I'm not going to ask, a 90-year-old to carry this and carry that to protect themselves. But I think there's a little bit more discussion about how to protect our elderly when you are the family member. We know some of this in a personal basis. It's not through the book or whatnot. It's basically all experience. As we go on with this business, Marcos, we learn a lot that's not written in the book.
Can you guys share your contact information, website, social media, how people can get a hold of you to either become involved if they need some services or they want to learn more? How could they reach out to you?
There's two forms of reaching out to us. Our phone number is 833-CARE with a K, CJC, or our website is cjccare.com. That's 2 C's after the J. We try to keep it as simple as possible.
So it is CJC Care, not CJ Care.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say thank you both, Cory and Norilyn, for being on the show. You're educating people that might need your services. And I can't thank you enough for all of the good deeds that you do. Now, I understand it's a business and you get paid for it, but you've chosen to do a business that really affects other people's lives in a positive manner. So thank you very much for taking the time to educate our listeners.
Thank you very much, Marcus.
Thank you for having us, Marcus.
I want my listeners to know that this is my dream, teaching people about safety. If it weren't for you, if it weren't for my listeners, I couldn't live my dream. So on behalf of my family and myself, I want to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to live my dream. And I also want to continue to live my dream, and I'm excited to continue to spread the word of safety. Recently, I began a new service as a conference keynote speaker. So if anyone would like for me to speak at future events, or if anyone knows of an introduction or would like to discuss how we can work with one another, I'd love to do just that. The keynote speaking website is www.stress2logic.com. That is STRESS2logic.com. If you're aware of any conference speaking engagements where you'd like to have me speak, I'd love an introduction. You can always share my electronic business card, which is Marcus Melnick, MarcusMelnick.com. Now, back to the show.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the first part of the show. There's a couple things I want to give an announcement on. First of all, I'd like to just remind everyone that I have monthly concealed carry class training. There's one going on right now as this is being broadcast. The next one that's open to the public is May 17th and 18th. That is, you can register for that, whether you need an initial certification or a renewal. Both are occurring that weekend. And you can sign up at www.firearmmentor.com/classes. That is FirearmMentor.com/classes. I'd love to see you in a future class. And of course, if you ever have questions, my electronic business card is marcusmelnick.com. That is marcusmelnick.com. And what I'm trying to do is get a hold of any employees who work at Tesla dealerships. I was hoping if anyone's listening and you know someone that works at a Tesla dealership, please reach out to me again via my electronic business card, which is marcusmelnick.com. I would love an introduction. So, with that said, I am actually working on a new article for Concealed Carry Magazine. And the article is going to be on how our brains change as far as perception goes, as far as cognitive, during a high-stress incident, or specifically a self-defense incident, and what happens to us perceptually with our vision, our hearing, our ability to have cognition, what happens to us in the brain. So they accepted my, I don't want to call it a draft, but it's because it's not a draft. They accepted my executive summary, asked me to go ahead and write the article, and I recently submitted it. And that would be for next February, March. Apparently, they have to deal with articles way ahead of time, which is cool. So stay tuned for the second half of the show, where we're going to be talking with Julie Usum and Carrie Smith. Both of them are from Hunger Resource Network, and we're going to learn how they serve the community by providing protein, specifically chicken, but other proteins as well, to local food pantries. Stay tuned. The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.